the Stelvio, the Grossglockner and Mont Ventoux. 3 epic mountains, and today I'm going to climb them all in one continuous ride, this afternoon. To travel between all 3 by car would take over 1,000 kilometers of driving, and it would just take too long. But today we are going to ride all 3 in the course of one ride and tell you how you can do the same. How? Stay tuned to find out. I'll give you a clue. It rhymes with movie. These are 3 of the best climbs in the world, climbs that are on every road cyclist's bucket list, climbs that people build a whole cycling pilgrimage around and then do other riding. I've been lucky enough to ride the Stelvio multiple times and Grossglockner too. I've never actually ridden the Ventoux in real life, so that's still one on my bucket list. But I plotted a route on Strava to see if it would be possible, what it would take to do these in one continuous ride, and the result was a 1,200 kilometer route with over 15,000 meters of elevation. Nope. I don't fancy doing that right now. Having done something similar in the summer, the Tour de Station, that took me, 72 hours. So yeah, I think not today. Plus, it's absolutely grim outside. It's winter right now and these mountains are covered in snow. It's just freezing here, but thanks to Rouvy's augmented reality software, I can go do them in the comfort of GCN Megabase. Rouvy have kindly created this challenge in their virtual training app for us. They've called it the 3-Hill Hell Challenge. Lovely stuff. It's 65 kilometers long and over 5,000 meters of elevation. This is going to be a big day on the turbo, but it is going to be an epic challenge. And if you want to give it a go yourself, well, you can. Anyone that completes this challenge within 3 months of this video being published will have a chance to win a prize. We'll put a link in the description down below. But I better get cracking because this is going to take me a while. And we're off. At the bottom of the Stelvio, on the Prato side, I'd like to add, which is the harder of the 2 sides. This one's like 24 kilometers. The other side is more like 19 kilometers. So yeah, quite a bit more elevation gain on this side. It's proper cool, right? Like, it's proper cool seeing it though, like the fact that it is this augmented reality, because having ridden this climb before, I'm already starting to remember things that I know are coming up, like really good views. Really lot. It's going to be about 6 hours this, so make sure I have plenty of fuel. Thanks, SAS. One of the coolest things about Rouvy is that it allows you to recon climbs in real life. You know, I'm like, right now, the weather's so horrible here in the UK, and a lot of what keeps me motivated and training in winter is the thought of going to places like this. This is also, in the case of the Stelvio, bringing back really nice memories for me constantly of when I've actually been here in real life. The thing about the Stelvio, the Prato side, is that it is super long and really, really hard. Like, the bit everyone knows and remembers is the famous spaghetti-like switchbacks at the top, but that's the last 9K, and that's the last third of the climb. Before that, you've got this long drag in the first third up through the forest, which just goes on forever. So the KOM on this side of the Stelvio is held by Rowan Dennis. He did it in the Giro d'Italia when Teo won. And it was phenomenal, him just being super domestique, dragging Teo up the climb. And I actually know that from his coach that he was well off his race weight, Rowan, when he set that KOM and got the Chima copy in the Giro. He was a good a couple of kilos heavy, but it's a classic example. Climbing's not all about weight, it's about power. He's got a lot of that. Just approaching the big hotel that's at the bottom of the famous hairpin section. I've stopped there many a time in real life for some treats. In the past, when I've done it in real life, I've really started to notice the effects of altitude, whereas you stay at the same altitude when you ride indoors in Bath. So I'm glad about that right now. A long turbo ride, and I'm just trying to pace it, and at this time of year as well, sitting at a nice zone 2 power. And that's the beauty of this kind of training, is if I were to go and ride this outdoors, it'd be very stop-start with junctions and little hills and stuff. But when you do this virtually, you've got that continual uninterrupted cycling and turning of the legs, and I just find that is just such good training adaptation.
Not every ride on Rouvy has to be an epic climb. They have over 1,300 augmented reality courses to choose from, recreating classic cycling routes from around the world.
Approaching the top now, where you can buy little Edelweiss flowers and all sorts of trinkets, and get sausages and get a beer if you want. I normally go for a tarte oomiee, which they seem to sell up here. Right, finished the Stelvio. Straight into the next one, the Grossglockner, up to the Edelweisspitze. Yeah, this is a climb that I'm familiar with. I've ridden it a few times. Ridden it 3 times actually, and twice on a couple of GCN events. Again, very, very long, and it's definitely a climb of 2 halves. The first part is this nice, really beautiful valley road, and then you go past the sort of toll booth, which is free if you're a cyclist. You have to pay if you're in a car. And then it's basically 10% average sort of thing to the top. It really is a brutal climb in the second half. I've just reached the toll booth. This is where the climb, it feels, properly begins after that. And yeah, from memory, this is a real tough one. And it seems that way in Rouvy too. It's, yeah, it just consistently seems to be like 10% or above this climb. It is an absolute beast, but definitely one to add to your bucket list.
Bloody hell, Ollie, you're doing pretty well here. On the Grossglockner, epic climb. You've already done it before. What's it like riding on Rouvy compared to the real thing?
Just as hard. But at least I don't have to contend with the altitude right now, which I'm hitting. I'm halfway, well, over halfway through this challenge, but it's, oh God, it's tough. I mean, that's the other thing to point out. It is all 3 climbs stitched back to back, no descent, no rest, straight into it. But I think when I get to the top of the Grossglockner, that'll be about 4 hours riding.
Kill me now.
Kill me now. Ollie! Oi! 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 Ollie! Oi! Ollie! 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 Oi! Oi! Oi!
Grossglockner done in about 1 hour 40, so ended up doing the second half quicker than I thought. Better get some carbs in, and now I've got to do Ventoux. It is a mega panoramic 360 view at the top of the Grossglockner. It really is. You get a little loop around when you do it on Rouvy, so you can sort of see it. Highly recommend it. Just before I start Ventoux, I'm going to reward myself with a wee. I'm not going to take the GoPro with me though. Ventoux. There it is. Let's get to it. 21k to the top. Now Ventoux is the one of these 3 climbs that I've not actually ridden in real life. I've been there in real life, but I've never actually ridden it. That's kind of the big one on my to-do list, my bucket list. So it's really cool actually to be riding it now, because I'm just doing like a virtual reality recon, and it's just really good to be able to see it and know, you know, how it rides and where it's steep and where the changes in gradient are, and that'll stand me in good stead to do a good time on it when I do actually manage to get over there and ride it at some point, hopefully this year. Now the KOM, I know because of an excellent GCM Plus doc we did, is Richard Carapaz. And that's closely followed by only a few seconds by our very own Andrew Feather. And well, that's about an hour and a half it took them, so I'd imagine it's going to take me quite a bit longer than that. But they have to contend with the altitude, and I thankfully don't. Oh, I'll tell you what, this is kickstarting my winter training. I had a week off last week, and well, now I'm currently sitting about 5 hours in. 5 hours on the turbo. I'm glad I've got a good saddle.
You're looking incredibly lean on Rouvy.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Your calves are more defined.
Thanks.
So that must give you some good motivation.
It's more the quads when you get the forward-looking shot. I wish my quads looked like my avatar.
Right, well, I'll leave you to it. If you add your banana and make sure you have enough gels, carbs. The one thing you don't want to do is lose out because you didn't have the right nutrition.
Thanks for that.
But keep it up, mate. You got this. You got this.
Thanks.
You look great.
Yeah.
Ciao, mate.
It's getting into the last 3k. My goal that I've sort of kind of set myself is just to try and keep it above 3 watts per kilo on all the climbs, and I've managed that so far, and I'm starting to feel it. I mean, yeah, like 5.5 hours at 3 watts per kilo. Like, yeah, I'm knackered now. I'm gonna go get a burrito after this, I've decided.
If you don't fancy 6 hours on the indoor trainer, you can also find training plans, workouts, group rides and races on Rouvy. And if you don't want to do this challenge in one big ride, well, you can do it in 3 separate rides, which right now feels like a much more sensible idea.
Into the final K, and now you can see the weather station, just like when I've seen it on the telly, on the Tour de France. And I know that there's that really steep ramp at the end. Nearly done, come on, one last push. I've done it. I've managed to finish it. That was tough. It's taken me in the end about 5 hours and 20 minutes. Big old turbo that. I think that's the biggest turbo I've ever done. Well, if you think you can do that as well, it is a tough challenge. Well, you can give it a go. And we've got links in the description down below. And if you do complete it within a couple of weeks, then of this video going out, you can win a prize. I'm gonna go and get a burrito now. I'm starving.